When people hear me speak English today, they often ask, "Which academy did you join?" Or "Who was your teacher?" And when I smile and say, "I had no teacher," they don't believe me. But the truth is, I really spoke English without a teacher. My journey with English started with a dream. I wanted to speak this language so I could connect with the world. I wanted to understand movies, songs, books, and most importantly, I wanted to express myself freely. But when I looked at where I was, that dream seemed impossible. I came from a place where English was not spoken daily. Around me, people laughed when someone tried to speak in English and made mistakes. That fear of being laughed at kept me silent for a long time. I used to think, what if I say the wrong word? What if my grammar is bad? What if people think I'm foolish? These questions lived in my mind and stopped me from trying. But one day, I realized something important. If I keep waiting for the perfect moment, I will never start. If I keep waiting for a teacher, I might be waiting forever. And so, I took the first step alone. At first, my English was broken, weak, and almost non-existent. I remember listening to English music and hearing nothing but sounds. I remember watching a Hollywood movie with no subtitles and feeling completely lost. And I remember opening a newspaper in English and closing it after just one line. I felt small. I felt powerless. But I didn't quit. Instead of giving up, I chose to start small. And that small step came through graded readers. Simple books written for learners like me. They were my first real teachers. The first time I picked up a graded reader, I thought it would be boring. But to my surprise, I enjoyed it. The sentences were short. The words were simple. And most importantly, I could understand. That moment gave me hope. From then on, reading became a daily routine. I made it a habit. Every night, even if I was tired, I read at least one page. Sometimes I read out loud. Sometimes I repeated the same story again and again. Slowly, I started to notice something. I was no longer reading word by word, letter by letter. I was reading whole sentences. My mind was getting faster. My understanding was improving, but I knew reading alone was not enough. If I wanted to speak English, I had to listen. So I filled my world with English sounds. I listened to podcasts, songs, audiobooks, and motivational talks. At first, it was noise. I understood nothing, but I kept going. I listened to the same sentence 10 times. I repeated what I heard. I used the shadowing method, listening to someone speak and immediately copying them like an echo. It was difficult, but slowly my tongue got used to English sounds. I also started practicing self-talk. I became my own conversation partner. When I woke up, I said, "Good morning. Today will be a great day." When I cooked food, I described it. I am cutting the vegetables. I am boiling the water. When I looked out of the window, I spoke what I saw. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. The children are playing. Some people thought I was crazy talking to myself. But in reality, I was training my brain. I was teaching my mouth to speak English naturally. And you know what? It worked. Still, there were days of doubt. Days when I felt like I was not improving. Progress is progress, no matter how small. One of the biggest breakthroughs came when I stopped fearing mistakes. Before, I was so scared of being wrong. But then I realized mistakes are not proof of failure. They are proof that I am trying. Every mistake was a teacher. Every wrong word was a lesson. And slowly, those mistakes turned into strength. I remember the very first time I spoke English with a foreigner online. I was nervous. My voice was shaking. I made many mistakes, but that person understood me. And in that moment, I realized I don't need perfect English. I need confidence. From then on, I started practicing without fear. I wrote short notes in English. I posted comments online in English. I joined forums where people spoke English. Every little interaction made me stronger. I didn't just study English, I lived it. I changed the language on my phone to English. I watched movies with subtitles. I wrote a daily journal in English, even if it was just 2 lines like, "Today I felt happy. I learned a new word." I surrounded myself with English until it became a part of me. And let me tell you something important. I didn't need to memorize hundreds of grammar rules. Grammar came naturally, through reading and listening. When you read and listen enough, your brain automatically starts understanding patterns. You start knowing what sounds right even if you don't know the rule behind it. Today, when I speak English, I don't translate in my head. Words just come. And this didn't happen overnight. It happened because I practiced every single day without waiting for a teacher. So, my dear friend, if you are listening right now, I want to tell you this. You don't need a teacher to start speaking English. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need to wait. All you need is a decision. The decision to start today with what you have, where you are. Read something simple. Listen to something daily. Talk to yourself. Write a little. Make mistakes. And keep going. Step by step, you will grow. My story is proof. I started with nothing. I had no teacher, no guide, no special environment. But today I speak English fluently and confidently. If I can do it, so can you. One day you will tell your story too. You will say, "I spoke English without a teacher. I built my fluency with my own hands. I created my own environment. I became my own teacher." And maybe, just maybe, your story will inspire someone else to begin their journey, just like I hope mine inspires you today.